trendsetter for the arts. For showtimes and tickets, visit SpencerTheatreCompany.com or call the Hoagland box office at 217-523-2787.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Breezy with showers today. Light snow beginning late in the afternoon. Windy overnight with a low around 20 degrees. Tomorrow mostly sunny with a high near 32, low around 22. Saturday partly sunny with a high near 48, low around 34. Sunday sunny with a high near 54. And Monday partly sunny with a high near 51. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
There are 3 words I always hear when someone from our staff is on the phone. We got it. Hi, it's Laurie from Rex Battery, and whenever somebody calls us and asks if we have a certain type of battery, the answer is always, we got it. Even in those very rare instances we don't, we know how to get it. And if we don't know how to get it, we'll build it. That's how committed we are to making sure you have the power you need. From model cars to real cars, from toys to tractors, dog collars to doorbells, riding mowers to remote keys. If it takes a battery, we have it at Rex Battery. Over 75,000 batteries in stock right now. So if you're wondering if we've got a battery, yep, we've got it. They're fresh, fully charged, and ready to go. Keeping Central Illinois fully powered for over 60 years. Rex Battery, Clear Lake, west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
You could dig a hole in the ground and bury your cash, but that's no way to see yourself. Use an INBCD, and you'll earn a 3.14% annual percentage yield just for keeping your money with us for 13 months. The minimum deposit and balance for this certificate of deposit special is $10,000. For more details, visit INB.com. Apply at any INB branch or on our website. INB, member FDIC.
Order your sub from the new Head West in-store kiosks, and you get a free brownie. Free brownie!
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
We've always felt that there's such a sense of family here at Springfield Supportive Living. Residents just being so encouraging to not only the staff, but to other residents and just supporting them. And, you know, when we were on lockdown for so long, we did become each other's family because the residents weren't seeing family of their own. It's such a great feeling that you can't even describe to see how people can be so kind and come together, especially in this day and age.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is today's Ion Travel Minute. According to the latest data from Expedia, and it doesn't come as much of a surprise, it's that many trips at this time of the year that are being booked are beach getaways. And this year, many destinations in Mexico, Dominican Republic, and Hawaii are experiencing double-digit increases in demand. And according to the research, the preferred activities by travelers for these destinations, by a whopping 97%, doing nothing. For the rest of the year, Expedia data suggests the deadline to get better deals for Memorial Day weekend, book by April 6th. For the rest of the summer, April 17th. For the 4th of July weekend, May 10th. For more information, visit petergreenberg.com. I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is today's Ion Travel Minute.
Bedtime is rough, and we'll go to extremes to fall asleep. Tempur-Pedic adapts to your body's needs to help her and stay asleep longer. So ditch the eye masks. Head to Ashley to find your perfect Tempur-Pedic.
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
Well, good morning to everybody tuning in, and for the online audience, I apologize for the technical blips and blops and bloops, but you can always tune in anytime, WMAY.com for the audio stream. but we've had some issues with the video stream this morning. Anytime you want to catch something, though, I do record it locally, and we upload it to the YouTube and other media pages as well, so you can follow along. Just search Bishop on Air. Best way to find those clips and conversations is at the YouTube channel. A little bit later on, we still have to tackle the budget that was proposed yesterday by Governor J.B. Pritzker. One thing he did not talk about in yesterday's State of the State and budget address was the ban on semitic weapons that he enacted last month. It's interesting that he didn't mention that at all. Just even searching the text of his speech didn't come up. And you have the issue brought up when he was overseas in Davos with the World Economic Forum. He talked about that on multiple occasions, but didn't bring it up yesterday during his State of the State speech, and that's kind of interesting. But I wanted to take this moment to kind of talk about some of the accountability that we've seen when it comes to instances of individuals and mass murder, because one of the arguments that we hear a lot is, we need gun bans to tackle the increased incidents that people say we're seeing when it comes to mass violence. And a lot of fingers pointed, at least in Illinois, to the July 4th shooting at the Highland Park Independence Day Parade. And that was where the suspect, Robert Jr., he faces, now after his son, the third, looking at charges of 7 charges of felony murder, and he killed 7 people allegedly and injured dozens of others. But a grand jury now indicting his father in this case. So the indictment charges Robert Crimo Jr. Helping get his son, Robert Crimo III, a firearm license, a FOID card here in the state of Illinois. That's something we need to be able to legally purchase and buy ammunition. And in that case, out of Highland Park, the timeline's really something I think we have to understand here. Because right after, a few days after the incident happened, you had local police holding news conferences, and they shared some detail about contact they'd had with Robert Crimo III, the suspect in this case, and that in 2019, they went to his house in one instance where he was apparently suicidal. Robert Crimo III was. And police then, assessed the situation and assessed that there was some mental health issues that were going to be dealt with, so they walked away. Then later in 2019, police are then called back to Robert Crimo III's home, where family members apparently alleged that he was violent or threatening towards them, and he had knives, and the police actually confiscated those knives. But Robert Crimo Jr. reportedly said that they were his knives and that his son was just keeping them, and they returned the knives. But regardless, local police did send Illinois State Police a clear and present danger report about Robert Crimo III, the suspect in the Highland Park Independence Day shooting. And that clear and present danger report sent from local police to Illinois State Police. Now, if you have to apply for a firearm identification card in Illinois, you have to get that in order to purchase weapons and ammo and own weapons and ammo in the state of Illinois. We're one of just, 3 or 4 states that's currently being challenged in the courts. That's a totally separate issue. I got to get an update on where that case is. We had one case dealing with an elderly woman from a southern Illinois county who was found with a rifle in her home and didn't have a FOID card. In that particular case, local prosecutors pursued charges that she was in possession of a firearm without a FOID card. And ultimately, that went all the way up to the Illinois Supreme Court, and they kicked it back down to the lower courts, which found it was unconstitutional. But that was just in that one instance of having a firearm in the house without without a FOID card. So that case, it went all the way up, but it only impacted one person. There are other cases challenging the firearm owner identification card in whole. We'll keep you updated on what's going on there. And there's even legislation at the State House to void the FOID. People in Illinois very interested in that. Not sure it's going to advance at all with the Democrat supermajority. So it might be the only remedy in the courts to be able to knock that down. We'll see if that ultimately happens. But back to the issue of the Highland Park shooting. Illinois state law, it requires a parent to sponsor someone under the age of 21 if that person under the age of 21 wants to get a FOID card. That's what happened in this case with Robert Cremo III, with a clear and present danger report against him filed to Illinois State Police. The father went and essentially sponsored his son, who was 19 at the time, turning 20, to get a FOID card. That sponsorship apparently negated the clear and present danger report because there was no actionable activity on that clear and present danger report, so Illinois State Police didn't use that as a way to keep Robert Cremo III from getting a FOID card and legally purchasing weapons he allegedly used in the Highland Park shooting. So now, with Illinois state law, since the parent has to sponsor the child, the parent can be held responsible for what the child ultimately does. And that's why the parent in this case of the suspected Highland Park shooter is being charged out of northern Illinois in Waukegan, where the indictment has 7 counts of reckless conduct. So interesting to see the accountability there. But what about with Illinois State Police and the clear and present danger report? Why wasn't that followed through with? Well, state police say that the rules didn't allow them, so they changed the rules. There are others that say that's not the case, and the rules were always there to allow them to use the clear and present danger reports to block people from getting their hands on a firearm owner identification card. So we've seen other instances where state police didn't necessarily use current law to block bad people from getting guns. In Aurora, back in 2019, you had a warehouse shooting where a warehouse employee, disgruntled, took a firearm in, and there was a mass shooting there. But you've got the issue of that individual having a revoked FOID card. But state police didn't follow through and go and confiscate that FOID card or any weapons that individual may or may not have had. So, again, another instance there. And every time we have these instances where, for whatever reasons, law enforcement doesn't necessarily follow through with what the laws are there to help weed out these individuals. They went ahead and refined the FOID card law back in 2020, and then COVID hits, and then all the backlog of FOID cards stacking up. You remember that whole saga. We could do a whole documentary on that, and trust me, I'm planning on doing some kind of documentary on all of this. But you've got instances where tragedies happen and then the state reacts. So understanding a little bit on a deeper level of some of these things is, I think, important. Meanwhile, in other areas of accountability, the individual in that supermarket shooting in New York getting a life sentence, and it turned into a pretty emotional time with the news reports of the sentencing hearing. Quite frankly, a lot of emotion being seen on display there. But the man convicted of killing 10 black people in Buffalo, New York, sentenced to life in prison without parole after relatives confronting him in the courtroom. And surely you can find some of that emotional testimony from the victim impact statements. Also, in other news about accountability here locally, a Lanphier High School student, of course, being found guilty on all counts in a 2021 fatal stabbing at Lanphier. 16-year-old being tried as an adult in that stabbing of a Lanphier High School student, Pierre Scott Jr., outside the school. And here locally in Springfield, we remember this case well because it was shortly after schools were starting to get back to some kind of normalcy. Then we have this act of violence happen outside of the school. So showing the wheels of justice here, that 16-year-old being tried as an adult, being found guilty on all counts. yesterday, and that case captivating a lot of people here locally. So a lot of accountability happening, but still a lot of questions about how we can go after bad actors even before bad actions can happen. Is that the process we need to do? Is that how we follow through, or do we have more upstanding people stand up to help in the efforts of keeping people safe? Age-old questions, no doubt about that. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk, and much more coming up, including a review of the state budget and the reaction to the governor's spending plan. So that's just some of what's coming up on this busy Thursday with Springfield's Morning News on WMAY. It's now 6:52. Let's take a break, look at your forecast, where you've got, after some thunderstorms moving through the area, some rain today, the high of around 41, and winds about 25 miles an hour, and the low down to 20 degrees, possible showers turning into snow. We're looking at partly sunny skies Friday with the high of 32, and then Friday night, clear with a low of 22. Saturday, increasing clouds with a high of 48, and Sunday, sunny with a high of 54. For Washington's birthday, President's Day, we're looking at a high of 52 with partly sunny skies. Right now, 6:53 on WMAY.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World.
Rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-306-8158. That's 800-306-8158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-306-8158. Again, 800-306-8158.
Take Springfield's morning news with Greg Bishop everywhere with the free WMAY mobile app. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
All right, coming up, we'll talk about the budgets for the state of Illinois. Illinois taxpayers learning how the governor wants to spend increased revenues than what we thought we had at last year at this time. But still, it's a lot of money. All right, so we're talking this current budget. The plan was to spend $46.5 billion in state funds. And then last month, there was a supplemental appropriation of, I think, like $1.8 billion. So that kicked it up, to close to $4.9 billion or so. But this new plan that's proposed spends nearly $50 billion. So we've seen a kind of just upward trajectory of increased spending, and the governor touting this as big wins for his administration, being that he's corrected the state's spending and put it on more stable footing. And while doing that, now he's put out there saying that we need more spending on new programs. Some of those new programs, pre-K and new funding for higher education. We're talking $1 billion plus, so a lot of dollars being spent. We'll hear what the governor has to say and some of the reaction from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. So stay tuned. That's coming up here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop. Good Thursday morning. Can't wait for the weekend. Hopefully you as well are ready for the weekend, so we can finish up the week strong these next couple of days and take a few days of a breather at 7 o'clock.
From the Fly SPI Studios, take the easy way out. WMAY FM.
Crash on the side of a highway near Huntsville, Alabama Wednesday.
2 people reported killed on board that Tennessee National Guard helicopter that Madison County, Alabama officials say went down near Huntsville's Highway 53. The craft was a Black Hawk helicopter. First responders reported the aircraft in flames and that there were no survivors.
ABC's Andy Field. This is ABC News.
Need weekend plans? Check out what's happening at your local Lowe's. Weekending at Lowe's gives you and your family the opportunity to make us your weekend destination. Join us in-store for free giveaways, events, and activities for everyone to enjoy. This month, stop by for fun events like our 2-day Super Bowl prep party and our Valentine's-themed kids workshop. Visit Lowe's.com/events for this month's full lineup. Count on Lowe's for all your home improvement needs. And now, activities in your community with Weekending at Lowe's.
God, I'm so stressed. It's a brand new year and our business is busier than ever.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more.
All right, coming up, Governor J.B. Pritzker's proposed budget and reaction from state lawmakers from both sides of the aisle. So we'll get to that and maybe some of your thoughts as well. Here with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk. It's now 7:03.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, the consulting firm developing a master plan for the medical district in downtown is conducting an online survey to ask people their impressions of issues like living conditions, and parking in and near downtown. The results will be used to finalize that master plan and lay out priorities for public and private development in both the downtown area and the adjacent medical district. The online surveys are live now at springfieldmasterplan.com. A Springfield teenager has been found guilty on all counts in the stabbing death of a student outside Linefair High School in 2021. Kamaya Bias was convicted on all counts in a bench trial before a Sangamon County judge, where she was tried as an adult in the attack that killed 18-year-old Pierre Scott, Jr., and wounded another teen. Bias was 15 at the time of the incident and could face 27 to 90 years behind bars when she is sentenced April 19th. Springfield aldermen continue to clash over the city's decision to forgive a portion of the debt that it was owed by the Wyndham City Center downtown. Alderman Joe McMiniman criticized fellow alderman Ralph Hanauer for Hanauer's statement that there was, quote, never discussion anywhere, end quote, of forgiving the Wyndham's debt during a 2021 executive session meeting. Hanauer says he meant that there was no discussion in open session and blasted McMiniman for discussing the contents of the closed-door meeting. Aldermen will vote next week on whether to release the minutes and audio of that executive session. The Lucky Horseshoes Minor League Club and the Prospect League have entered into an agreement to utilize a high-tech in-game analytics system during home games. Robin Roberts Stadium will be outfitted with cameras that will allow real-time data for players, coaches, and scouts to make up-to-the-minute assessments of pitching and hitting. Team management says that data will help coaches make adjustments, improving player development. The system will be in place for the team's home opener on May 31st. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by Just Beds. A great night's sleep starts with a visit to the yawn exterminators at Just Beds. Online at justbedsinc.com.
Suspect everyone. Witness the mystery and mayhem of the longest-running show in history as Spencer Theatre Company presents Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap, sponsored by SIU School of Medicine, February 17th to 19th and 24th to 26th at the Hoagland Center for the Arts. For showtimes and tickets, visit SpencerTheatreCompany.com or call the Hoagland box office at 217-523-2787.
Race to savings on your bathroom project at Menards. The Elate Frameless Shower Door by Kohler creates a sleek, minimalist look. The tempered glass is coated with CleanCoat technology, which repels water, scum, and residue, saving cleaning time and protects your door. It's available in a matte black, bright silver, or matte nickel finish to suit any style. Save big money on Kohler shower doors and race into Menards today. Savings good through February 18th.
Save big money at Menards.
Take off in a new career in as little as 9 months with training from Midwest Technical Institute. Choose your future, change your life. MidwestTech.edu.
You might be surprised by how many folks we meet who have a security system in place, but it doesn't work. And they can't remember how it works, and they can't get anyone from the company to help them. Maybe we have a solution. We're Barcom Security. We're here, we're family owned and managed, and we are 100% live all the time. 24/7, 365. You never get a recording and the phone rarely rings more than twice. We never sleep. Check out barcomsecurity.com and have a secure day.
Miss an interview? Catch the podcast whenever, wherever. 92.7 WMAY is on demand at WMAY.com.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Breezy with showers today. Light snow beginning late in the afternoon. Windy overnight with a low around 20 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high near 32, low around 22. Saturday, partly sunny with a high near 48, low around 34. Sunday, sunny with a high near 54. And Monday, partly sunny with a high near 51. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
News sponsored by CBD Botanicals. Visit CBD Botanicals in Springfield and Edwardsville. Online at cbdbotanicals.com.
You know the weather outside can be frightful, but inside the old Shop and Save, it's delightful. Tropical 72 degrees inside the ginormous Drive and Save auto clearance sale on the corner of Wabash and Chatham Road.
90% of our cars and trucks are local trade-ins. Truly the best pre-owned cars to buy. The select cars we keep go through a 72-point inspection with new tires, brakes, belts, and hoses. Then we drop them in the indoors at the old Shop and Save. We take the loss internally, and you get the lowest priced cars in the state of Illinois.
Over $4.5 to $5 million worth of the finest pre-owns backed up by a lifetime warranty. With 0% available with approved credit, see dealer for details. So run, don't walk to the old Shop and Save, corner of Wabash and Chatham Road for the one and only Drive and Save. Voted Best of Springfield 2022 place to buy a used car.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
You can jumpstart your car with a device you can hold in your hand. I'm Laurie from Rex Battery, and if you find yourself with a dead battery, the NOCO Genius Boost is all you need. You don't have to wait for a friend to show up, call a tow truck, or hope a stranger has jumper cables. If you have the NOCO Genius Boost, you have the charge you need to get your car going again. One charge can get you as many as 20 jumps. Rex Battery always carries the latest technology, and these small devices pack big power, enough oomph to start your cars, trucks, and even boats. They even have USB ports so you can get your phone powered up if you're stranded. The NOCO Genius Boost. Pick up one today at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
Yesterday, Governor J.B. Pritzker delivering a State of the State and budget address in front of a joint session of the Illinois House and Senate at the Illinois State Capitol, proposing to spend 49 point some odd billion dollars. A lot of money, all right? Close to $50 billion is what the state says they're bringing in revenue, which is a high amount. And then you look at how much they're wanting to spend. It's about 49 points. Let's see here. What's the actual spending amount that some analysis has provided here? You've got $49.6 billion of spending on $49.9 billion of estimated revenue, leaving about a $300 million surplus, but $165 million of that's going to go into the state's rainy day fund. And Governor J.B. Pritzker heralding his budget prowess, but not really talking about the possible impacts of the COVID federal dollars that critics of the governor say was used to balance the budget and to pay off bills, but Democrats pushing back, saying that's not the case. It's their responsible budgeting, they say, is the reason why. But Governor J.B. Pritzker yesterday delivering his budget address. Here are just some of the highlights of the governor in his address, talking about a new preschool program where he's going to be appropriating $250 million for early education and $75 million block grants that he says is going to help create 5,000 preschool spots for children all across the state of Illinois. Here's the governor yesterday.
Smart Start Pre-K is a 4-year plan that will allow us to give access to preschool to every 3- and 4-year-old in Illinois.
But the governor also wants to spend $100 million on MAP grants. It's the Monetary Award Program. It's financial assistance for college students, and he says that'll in the end, it's going to boost the state's economy by getting more skilled labor.
We can make history. Together with Pell Grants, virtually everyone at or below median income in Illinois can go to community college tuition free.
So again, Governor J.B. Pritzker delivering some of that address, but he also heralding his ability to manage the budget, he says, and that's helped the state cut down on a backlog of bills and increase the state's credit rating, though Illinois still has the worst credit rating in the nation. You've got Governor J.B. Pritzker taking time to spell out what he says are his accomplishments and how the state of the state is actually looking.
In the age-old fight between happy warriors and misery's carnival barkers, we've shown that if we resolve to do it, happy warriors win every time, and we are winning. Which is why here in Illinois in 2023, I'm confident in saying the state of our state is stronger than it has been in decades, and we're getting stronger every day.
So again, Governor J.B. Pritzker, just some of what he had to say, but he also got a little political as well and talked about what he warned was coming from the, quote, right wing. So here's the governor yesterday during his address taking time to discuss politics as well.
There is a virulent strain of nationalism plaguing our nation, led by demagogues who are pushing censorship, with a particular attack right now on school board members and library trustees. It's an ideological battle by the right wing, hiding behind a claim that they would protect our children, but whose real intention is to marginalize people and ideas they don't like. This has been done in the past, and it doesn't stop with just snuffing out ideas. This afternoon, I've laid out a budget agenda that does everything possible to invest in the education of our children. Yet it's all meaningless if we become a nation that bans books from school libraries about racism suffered by Roberto Clemente and Hank Aaron, and tells kids that they can't talk about being gay.
And he went on from there to talk about some cultural issues and pointing out that, in his opinion, it's the right wing that is going after disenfranchised groups. So we'll, of course, hear more reaction to that. But I was able to touch base with a couple of Republicans immediately after the speech yesterday from the state capitol. And one of those Republicans I connected with was State Representative Adam Niemerg, who shared with me some of his initial thoughts live from the Capitol shortly after the speech.
We still have some of the nation's highest property taxes, some of the highest combined state taxes in the country. Pension stat is still the biggest in the nation. We have the second highest unemployment rate. Home value is third worst in the country. We have 2.75 in new spending. We're looking at a recession coming. He talked about evidence-based funding, putting more money into that. He had a school that he quoted, Curie School here. He highlighted, but at 9.8 reading proficiency, 13% math proficiency, and $14,000 per child, it's just it's a woke wish list. Is really what we're dealing with here. And the governor had the audacity again to call us carnival barkers, but he's running the carnival and he's driving the carnival off the leftist cliff. So I'm hoping the people of the state of Illinois still decide to live here and stay here, but it's going to be an uphill battle.
So that's State Representative Adam Niemerg providing his reaction, and we had other reaction I got from state lawmakers immediately afterwards. Republican State Senator from Springfield, Steve McClure, he shared some of his thoughts and about, in particular, the idea of the questions of whether there's going to be a recession in Illinois.
We have heard from the governor's office and others in this building that they do predict there is going to be some sort of a recession. They didn't know how severe it was going to be. If that's the case, which I think most people agree that there is going to be a recession, I think you need to be more frugal with your funds. We are not seeing that with this budget.
So after the speech, there were a lot of news conferences from various caucuses, being the Latino caucus, the Black caucus, Democrats, the Freedom Caucus, all of these different groups of lawmakers sounding off and reacting. But to the issue of a possible recession, that was raised with one of the lead budgeteers in the House Democratic caucus, and that's Peoria State Representative Jihan Gordon Gordon Booth. She was asked whether or not the state may have bitten off more than they can chew. You'll hear a little bit of the reporter's question here, but Gian Gordon Booth sounding off.
Plan maybe biting off more than the state can chew. I mean, do you have any reaction to that?
Listen, we're going to be smart about this process. We are standing on solid ground specific to the decisions that we have made over the last 4 years, and we want to continue in that vein. Part of the reason why we have gone to this new direction in terms of really centering this budget making process at the committee level, allowing the committee chairman and chairwomen to really lead that process, is because they will literally have the ability to go into these budgets line by line and identify where we are getting our greatest return on investments for the investments that we're making on behalf of the state of Illinois. Regardless of where we end up specific to our budget number at the end of the day, we have to remember we are still going to spend billions of dollars of taxpayer money and invest those resources back into the state of Illinois. So our intention is to make the critical transformational investments that we need to be making, but also ensuring that we're doing so in a fiscally responsible manner.
So doing so in a fiscally responsible manner, how's that going to look? The Democrats saying that they're going to be putting away dollars for the rainy day fund, and you'll hear obviously that is a major talking point moving forward. But what about a possible recession? Is that rainy day fund going to be enough? Now, with the new programs that the governor announced, again, more than $200 million for this Start Smart program that's for pre-K, increased funding for MAP grants and subsidies for higher education, and a 7% increase altogether for higher education, a whole bunch of money for K through 12 districts as well. But questions have been in Republican mouths for a long time as to whether more funding is going to actually increase literacy rates. And the governor using his speech to highlight a U.S. World News Report's review of Illinois, saying that Illinois education is doing great. But if you look at the actual statistics from the Illinois report card, it shows poor achievement for a lot of school districts across the state. And how is that being addressed? So the new programs that there's been questions of, are these sustainable, or are we going to see, for instance, tax increases? That's something that State Senator Terry Bryant, Republican from Murfreesboro, she raised concern about in her reaction yesterday to the governor's budget address.
Wait a minute. We cannot spend all the money that he is proposing, because in essence, what it's going to do is force another tax increase. I would say the governor did not get the progressive income tax increase that he wanted, so now his plan is to make sure that he spends us into a tax increase.
So different takes from different sides of the aisle as the governor calls out carnival barkers. Critics say that his budget is a woke wish list. Headline from the Chicago Tribune says Governor J.B. Pritzker stresses an $49.6 billion budget proposal while blasting a, quote, virulent strain of nationalism in the school debate, and a whole bunch of other spending as well in the mix. So this obviously is going to assess here in the next few weeks and months as state lawmakers then they're tasked with now putting together this budget, and we'll hear a lot about that. We'll be bringing you all of the latest as we get it from the State House as to how your tax dollars are going to be spent. Let's take a quick call here, and we'll open it up for more of your reaction as well. 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
I'm so sick and tired about when it comes to spending for education. They spend millions and millions and millions in this state. We don't get anything that anything any better. The grades aren't better. They build these fancy high schools. They think that's going to do it. Now it's pre-K. It used to be you went to kindergarten, you started from there, you went up. How much do they think they can take out of my pocket? How high are my taxes going to be? How am I going to afford my home on my property taxes? They keep spending money on all this nonsense.
Well, yeah, the governor says that by giving K through 12 more funding, they can keep your property taxes low. But I don't know if there's anything in state statute that says, well, you you can't continue to raise your property taxes year after year after year. I know that there are some caps, but listen, they can go to voters and they can ask voters directly with a referendum, and then have the labor unions advocate and use their dues-paying members' money to, put out messaging about, hey, we need a new high school. They didn't plan for this ahead of time, so instead we're just going to do tax increases. It's an interesting conundrum a lot of people are in. I appreciate the call. We'll take another one. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
I just wish their excitement was matched with the facts. The fact of the matter is that Illinois unemployment was increased throughout COVID, and our GDP shrank. Yet at the same time, our tax revenue, increased by almost $10 billion. The only thing that could account for that is direct stimulus from the federal government. It's not because they had some beautiful magic revenue pill and budget pill that created all this extra revenue. No, it's because the federal government injected trillions of dollars into the United States government. And I almost wonder, if he felt like Oprah yesterday when he was reading his speech. You get $200 million. You get $50 million. I get $150 million for this project. It's just all nonsense. Nothing he is saying has proven true in any district throughout the United States. Investing in pre-K, why our regular education system is failing, it's just nonsense. We don't need pre-K education right now. I mean, it's flabbergasting.
Well, I appreciate the thoughts and the reaction as a taxpayer, and that's what we do. We like to open things up and hear from you out there, and your reaction to what we bring you each and every weekday morning. So appreciate that. It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk. I'm Greg Bishop, live and local every weekday morning from 6 to 9. You can also follow along Bishop on Air on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and other areas. So, join me, won't you? It is Springfield's Morning News, and I got to take a break. It's 7:24.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager for Midwest Family Springfield. Are you the one person I'm looking for to help further build our media sales team at Midwest Family Springfield? We are the premier multimedia marketing company that no other company compares to in the Springfield area. It's really simple. I need one sales leader, a brand ambassador whose talent and team focus will thrive working with Midwest Family. Are you passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive? Are you an overachiever, a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have the skill set for today's digital marketing? And do you believe in growing lasting partnerships? If so, apply online today at Midwest Family SPI and click on the Careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, you'll be challenged, you'll be trained, and you'll have access to world-class tools like HubSpot CRM. Are you the one I'm looking for? If so, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the Careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
Hands-on experience and knowledge are traits we expect of our elected officials. No one is more qualified and experienced in the city treasurer's office than Colleen Redpath-Fager. Colleen is the only candidate for city treasurer that works hands-on daily in every area of the office. Redpath-Fager has increased profits on our city investments, streamlined the collection of city revenues, and kept our money locally invested. As city treasurer, Colleen Redpath-Fager will continue to increase our investment profits and collection revenues, modernize online and text collection of violations, and provide greater financial and debt transparency between city departments and the public. Colleen will ensure an innovative and effective city treasurer's office that Springfield residents will benefit from and be proud of. Colleen Redpath-Fager, proven leadership of experience, trustworthiness, and dedication to our community that you can count on. Vote Colleen Redpath-Fager for Springfield City Treasurer.
Paid for by friends of Colleen Redpath-Fager.
Hey, this is Jim over at CBD Botanicals. So, this time of year, we often experience this thing called SAD, or seasonal affective disorder. And there's something in the shop that really works well for that. CBG is kind of like a turbocharge to the CBD that we're already using. It helps accentuate the effects that it already has. It also helps me in the morning, maybe just open up my chest a little bit so I can get that breath, that good deep breath to help me get going and get that engine started. But then on the weekends, I also use something that has a little bit of something from the other side of the aisle that we like to talk about. And I use a sativa strain of this, which helps kind of perk me up so that I'm ready and raring during the weekend and still feeling incredibly relaxed as well. So come on by to the shop, come check out these items, and it's CBD and CBG and sometimes a little something else from the other side of the aisle with a little sativa in it. And every purchase of $100 or more, you get a free gift while supplies last. CBD Botanicals at 2538 South Cokie Mill Road at the corner of Cokie Mill and Isles, next to Walgreens in the Fresenius building.
The Springfield Area Home Builders Association brings the 2023 Home Expo to the BOS Center February 17th through the 19th. The Home Expo is the place to check out the latest trends in home building and remodeling. Register to win a 4-pack of tickets into the Springfield Area Home Builders Association 2023 Home Expo all this week with the WMAY mobile app or at WMAY.com/win. The 2023 Home Expo, February 17th through the 19th at the BOS Center with 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Less frustration, more vacation. Book a nonstop flight from Springfield's Abraham Lincoln Capitol Airport, SPI to Fort Myers, Punta Gorda at Allegiant.com and experience the sun, fun, and relaxation of Southwest Florida. Find low fares and save big by bundling at Allegiant.com. Fly from SPI and spend more time enjoying vacation. Book your flight from SPI at Allegiant.com. Fly local. Fly SPI. Take the easy way out.
Take the easy way out.
Indoor shopping is not typical when it comes to looking for a car, unless you talk with Green Hyundai, and their indoor shopping extravaganza is underway right now. And Mike Quimby standing by to tell you where you can find your new vehicle. Mike, tell us about it.
That's right, Greg. Hey, beautiful day to be indoors shopping for a car. Yeah, tropical 72 degrees. It is in the old Shop and Save on the corner of Wabash and Chatham Road. That's the location. And we brought in $6.5 million worth of cars. We gathered them up from the other Green stores and then all these fresh trade-ins at Green Hyundai and brought them right out here. We service them with new tires, new brakes, new belts, new hoses, and then we bring them in to the old Shop and Save, back them up by a lifetime warranty on the engine and transmission. It's a worry-free shopping on a quality car backed up by the #1 Hyundai dealer in the central United States, right here in little old Springfield, Illinois. Yep, you can do it. We've also got new Hyundais out there, Palisades, Santa Fe's, Tucsons, Sonatas, Elantras, everything indoors. We exclusively have 0%. Don't go to the bank asking for 0%. Because they're going to tell you they don't have it. You can only get it at the ginormous indoor auto clearance event going on at the old Shop and Save on the corner of Chatham Road and Wabash Avenue. It's the Drive and Save sale. Greg?
Mike Quimby, Green Hyundai. Have yourself a great weekend. All right, get over to WMAY.com/poll and take today's poll where it asks about the governor's speech and how would you assess the state of Illinois? Excellent, good, fair, poor? Well, looks like most of you so far this morning have said poor, and that's sticking. 72% of you say that the state of Illinois is in poor shape. Go vote at WMAY.com, but also while you're there, go check out the contest page where you can learn how to win tickets for the Springfield Area Home Builders Association Home Expo. It's going on at the Bank of Springfield Center, but you can also find out about how to win up to a $75 rebate for flights out of Fly SPI. So there you all got to do is just fill in some information, take a trivia question, and every Thursday I'm going to announce who is the winner for the previous week, and that's coming up in about 20 minutes. I'll tell you who that winner is. So stay tuned, but if you want to be able to win that, you've got to go take the quiz. And today's quiz question, I'll also share that with you coming up. Those of you who are watching online already know the quiz question, so stay tuned. We've got much more coming up here, but go to WMAY.com and find out how you can win today.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
All right, appreciate everybody and their patience this morning. It has been a Fast-paced morning. Just so you know, I haven't done it in a bit, but I might have to show you kind of the behind the scenes of what's going on here every morning. Because listen, it's just me. There's no producer over here. I do all my own show prep and all my own planning and even the switching of the cameras and setting up the live streams. And oh my gosh, they are getting their bang for the buck here, that's for sure. But I appreciate everybody out there listening from all over the place. It's just incredible to see where people are tuned in from. And even I had a message on one of the live stream and one of the videos on YouTube, somebody watching from Washington State because they want to see how Illinois is handling, for instance, the ban on certain semi-automatic weapons. And they are facing a similar prospect in Washington State and elsewhere and throughout the country. So interesting to see all of that. And, of course, hearing from you as well is important. And, again, that's why we open up the phone lines at 217-629-7970. All right, coming back, we've got several other things we got to get into, including whether the Bears should move out of Chicago and the significance of them purchasing the land in Arlington Heights to possibly have that set up, and what that means for the Chicago mayoral race. But also some stuff happening with transportation. You've got the ongoing issues of the train derailment in Ohio and some other things happening. But also later on, we've got a couple of different local theater productions to tell you about, one of which I'm actually a part of. You know, I did theater back in high school, but I do theater for a local library, and every year they do a murder mystery. It's a unique and a new script that's written by the library director's husband. And we've been doing this for, going on like 10 years or something. It's pretty incredible, with a new script each time. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But later on this hour, we'll talk about the Spencer Theater Company's production coming up that you've been hearing about in some of the commercials. So stay tuned. That's just some of what's coming up here on WMAY, now 7:34. Let's get a headline check.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the three big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story: residents of the Ohio Village upended by a freight train derailment packed a school gym to seek answers about whether they are safe from toxic chemicals that spilled or were burned off. Officials said again that testing so far shows the air is safe and that air and water monitoring will continue. Residents still worry about huge plumes of smoke and persistent odors and wonder if there are lingering health risks. The administrator of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is slated to visit the village Thursday. The Lucky Horseshoes Minor League Club and the Prospect League have entered into an agreement to utilize a high-tech in-game analytics system during home games. Robin Roberts Stadium will be outfitted with cameras that will allow real-time data for players, coaches, and scouts to make up-to-the-minute assessments of pitching and hitting. Team management says that data will help coaches make adjustments, improving player development. The system will be in place for the team's home opener on May 31st. A Springfield teenager has been found guilty on all counts in the stabbing death of a student outside Linefair High School in 2021. Kamaya Bias was convicted on all counts in a bench trial before a Sangamon County judge, where she was tried as an adult in the attack that killed 18-year-old Pierre Scott, Jr., and wounded another teen. Bias was 15 at the time of the incident and could face 27 to 90 years behind bars when she is sentenced April 19th. Springfield aldermen continue to clash over the city's decision to forgive a portion of the debt that it was owed by the Wyndham City Center downtown. Alderman Joe McMiniman criticized fellow Alderman Ralph Hanauer for Hanauer's statement that there was, quote, never discussion anywhere, end quote, of forgiving the Wyndham's debt during a 2021 executive session meeting. Hanauer says he meant that there was no discussion in open session and blasted McMiniman for discussing the contents of the closed-door meeting. Aldermen will vote next week on whether to release the minutes and audio of that executive session. The consulting firm developing a master plan for the medical district in downtown is conducting an online survey to ask people their impressions of issues like living conditions, transportation, and parking in and near downtown. The results will be used to finalize that master plan and lay out priorities for public and private development in both the downtown area and the adjacent medical district. The online surveys are live now at springfieldmasterplan.com. Labor groups are applauding Pritzker's commitment to boost education spending and increase workforce development programs. Several business groups are applauding the work by Pritzker and the General Assembly to stabilize Illinois' finances, but warn that revenues are expected to slow down in the coming years and caution against significant new spending. GOP State Senator Steve McClure of Springfield says Illinois is headed towards a fiscal cliff and contends Pritzker's plan would ultimately force a tax increase. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by 7th Street Cidery, Central Illinois' first cidery, now open next door to Obed and Isaac's in downtown Springfield.
I'm Shawn Braley, Executive Director at Springfield Supportive Living. Our staff have been rock stars. I haven't heard anybody say, that's not my job. They have made sure that the residents' mental, physical, and emotional needs are met. Once you move in here or start working here, you become part of our family.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
Suspect everyone. Witness the mystery and mayhem of the longest-running show in history as Spencer Theatre Company presents Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap, sponsored by SIU School of Medicine, February 17th to 19th and 24th to 26th at the Hoagland Center for the Arts. For showtimes and tickets, visit SpencerTheatreCompany.com or call the Hoagland box office at 217-523-2787.
Hi, I'm Misty Busher, and I'm running for Springfield Mayor. My goal is to bring new leadership for a better Springfield, and that means rolling up my sleeves and hitting the ground running to make sure things get accomplished. I will work hard to bring much-needed change for economic development, job growth, infrastructure, homelessness, and beautification of our city. These are just a few of the issues I'm focused on. I'm here to fight for Springfield and to bring changes to benefit every resident. I ask for your vote as Mayor of Springfield. Please vote Misty Busher.
Paid for by Friends of Misty Busher.
3120 Montville Drive, Springfield.
Where do you go when you want to get in shape?
The Body Quest store, the Body Quest store.
High quality exercise equipment for your home.
The Body Quest store, the Body Quest store.
The quest for the healthier you begins at
the Body Quest store, the Body Quest store.
3120 Montville Drive.
The Body Quest store, the Body Quest store.
787-9930.
The Body Quest store, the Body Quest store.
The quest for the healthier you begins at the Body Quest store. 3120 Montville Drive, Springfield.
Get today's headlines delivered to your inbox every morning. Subscribe now at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Breezy with showers today. Light snow beginning late in the afternoon. Windy overnight with a low around 20 degrees. Tomorrow mostly sunny with a high near 32, low around 22. Saturday partly sunny with a high near 48, low around 34. Sunday sunny with a high near 54. And Monday partly sunny with a high near 51. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
BLH Computers. Make sure you visit their locations in Springfield, Taylorville, Jacksonville. Not only is BLH Computers the place to go when you're looking for quality laptops when your current one, just goes kaput, but they're also the place to take those old electronics that are just taking up space around the house. And you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that old desktop that's just sitting under, a pile of papers, the old laptop that you've thrown in the closet, even old TVs that are sitting in the garage or basement, and gather those up and take them to the largest electronics recycler in the region. That is BLH Computers. They are eSteward certified, which is the highest certification in their industry, making sure that the electronics stay out of the landfills, make sure that personal data stored on those electronics is safely disposed of, and BLH Computers also makes recycling easy for business owners as well. BLH Computers helps you navigate the rules, the paperwork, the security, the accountability that goes along with that. They can help you from start to finish. BLH Computers, the place to take those computers and recycle them. BLH Computers, locations in Springfield, Taylorville, Jacksonville. Learn more on Facebook, learn more online. BLHcomputers.com.
Springfield has so many must-see destinations when you come to visit, such as the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum, Bicentennial Plaza, and don't forget 7th Street Cidery. Yes, 7th Street Cidery, Central Illinois' first cidery, is quickly becoming a destination for their great selection of locally sourced ciders, meads, and perries in a warm, rustic atmosphere. Located at 503 South 7th Street next to Obed and Isaac's and across from Lincoln's home, near great shopping and history in the heart of downtown Springfield. 7th Street Cidery.
If you love barbecue and tasty butts drive you nuts, wiggle on over to Lil Willie's Smokehouse. Fresh smoked barbecue that you're gonna love. What's your pleasure? Brisket, pork, chicken? Lil Willie's got it. And all of the classic sides, like homemade mac and cheese and cornbread. Follow your nose to the smoke at Lil Willie's Smokehouse. Ask about Willie's Rewards, where you get points for eating barbecue. Lil Willie's Smokehouse at the corner of South Grand and MacArthur. Wiggle Central.
For more information, visit littlewilliesbbq.com.
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
The Chicago Bears announcing that they have closed on the property at Arlington Park. And city officials in Arlington Park, super excited. But what about the officials in Chicago? What does this mean for Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot and her political future, especially with that runoff election coming up at the end of this month? We got, less than 2 weeks before the voters in Chicago head to the polls to decide who they want to be up on the election for April. So we'll see what happens, but kind of fascinating to see this play out and the political ramifications. Would love to hear from you at 217-629-7970. Do you think the Chicago Bears should move to Arlington Heights? So Arlington Park. We'll, of course, read some of what the Bears had to put here, but I'd like to hear your thoughts at 217-629-7970. It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. I'm Greg Bishop. Thanks for hanging out. You can always join me, even off air. Just search Bishop on Air, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and you can catch up on all things there. All right, so let's go to this tweet from the Chicago Bears. They shared an open letter regarding the closing of Arlington Park property and said last fall, we released an open letter confirming it reached an agreement for the purpose of acquiring 326 acres of property in Arlington Heights to secure the potential of beginning a new exciting chapter of the Bears, our fans, the Chicagoland community, and the state of Illinois. This week, we took another step toward realizing the vision by closing on the Arlington Park property. Finalizing the purchase, the Bears said, does not guarantee the land will be developed, but it is an important next step in our ongoing evaluation of the opportunity. There's still a tremendous amount of due diligence work to be done to determine if constructing an enclosed state-of-the-art stadium and multi-purpose entertainment district is feasible. And the statement goes on to say, should we proceed, the development of the Arlington Heights property would be one of the largest mega projects in Midwest history. Possible construction of stadium-anchored developments is projected by analysts to create more than 48,000 jobs, generating $9.4 billion in economic impact for the Chicagoland economy, and provide $3.9 billion in new labor income to workers across the region. The completed mega project would create more than 9,750 long-term jobs, generate $1.4 billion in annual economic impact for Chicagoland, and provide $601 million in annual labor income to workers across Chicagoland. The village of Arlington Heights has hired its own expert consultant to review the economic projections, and we look forward to discussing the substantial benefits this project will provide. The statement goes on from there, but I'd like to hear from you if you think that this is something that Chicago should ultimately do, and the Bears, I should say, and move from Chicago, Soldier Field, to new facilities at Arlington Heights, and should they still call themselves the Chicago Bears if that's the case? But looking at some of the other headlines, of course, the village of Arlington Heights excited, in the school district, awaiting to see what happens with this closing. So the Tribune reporting that Soldier Field, of course, is at the center of this as well, and there's been talks from Mayor Lori Lightfoot about renovating Soldier Field and how that should play out. But another Chicago Tribune headline I think is really fascinating here, highlights the political ramifications of this, and in particular, how the land deal is just 2 weeks before the election for who should be the next mayor of Chicago. So what do you think about all this? 217-629-7970. That's the phone number. You can chime in live and local. Maybe some of you are Chicago Bears fans. I don't really watch sports, so yeah, this doesn't necessarily interest me in as far as the sporting aspect. What interests me more is how this deal is going to come together, because the Chicago Bears have already looked at the possibility of getting special tax treatment for not the building of a Chicago Bears facility, but helping with all of the other neighboring types of business operations that there are. So how this is going to impact the taxing situation, Arlington Heights, yeah, I'm sure they're looking at that and saying, hey, this is going to be a great economic boon for us, regardless of what happens with the property, whether it's going to be for football or something else entirely different. It might be a mixture of football or other activities, but the Chicago Bears purchasing the property before an election in Chicago will be kind of fascinating here. One of the comments online says, good, Lightfoot has no one to blame but herself. As usual, everything the Democrats touch goes to expletive. But let's just look at this headline again. All right, Chicago Bears land deals 2 weeks before mayor's election. Could a team move wound Lightfoot? And that's an interesting question. That's the Tribune. If you get a chance, you might want to pick that up and give that a read, as they're very interested in what happens with the Chicago Bears and whether or not they're going to go to Arlington Heights and build new facilities there and get special tax carve-outs that taxpayers are going to have to foot the bill for eventually in the exchange of possible economic activity in return. And we see this a lot across the country, where taxpayers have to essentially prop up some of these mega businesses with tax incentives and a variety of other tax carve-outs to help that operation get off the ground. So we'll be watching this. Of course, it's not just going to impact the local taxpayers there. There's even been some efforts to try to bring this out and have statewide incentives. Yep, we'll watch that. And I'm sure you will too. It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And we got to take a break here, but I do want to go ahead and share with you the winner. This week's winner for Fly SPI's 75 years of celebration and getting you off the ground. And we've been running this contest all week where we've asked you a question, and the question was about when was the Springfield Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport dedicated, and the question was up, and Laura Carnes, you are the winner. You won a $75 rebate this week. Laura Carnes, you will be contacted to find out how you get that rebate, $75 rebate with Fly SPI. So congratulations, Laura. You are the winner. And if you are not already ready to go, then you need to head over to WMAY.com/fly, where you can take the trivia question, all right? And you could possibly line yourself up to win a $75 rebate from Fly SPI in celebration of 75 years. Now, a new question, all right? So Laura, she wins $75. You could win $75. You just got to go and answer the question. What's the question? What popular U.S. president flew into Capitol Airport in October of 1962? All right, so what popular U.S. president flew into Capitol Airport in October 1962? Multi-choice question there, and if you answer it correctly, you could be entered to win a $75 rebate from Fly SPI. So congratulations to Laura Carnes. She is winner this week, and you could be a winner next week with Fly SPI and WMAY. All right, stay tuned. We've got a conversation about a production coming up here in a moment on WMAY at 7:50 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager for Midwest Family Springfield. Are you the one person I'm looking for to help further build our media sales team at Midwest Family Springfield? We are the premier multimedia marketing company that no other company compares to in the Springfield area. It's really simple. I need one sales leader, a brand ambassador whose talent and team focus will thrive working with Midwest Family. Are you passionate and highly competitive? Are you an overachiever, a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have the skill set for today's digital marketing? And do you believe in growing lasting partnerships? If so, apply online today at Midwest Family SPI and click on the Careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, you'll be challenged, you'll be trained, and you'll have access to world-class tools like HubSpot CRM. Are you the one I'm looking for? If so, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the Careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
There are 3 words I always hear when someone from our staff is on the phone. We got it. Hi, it's Laurie from Rex Battery, and whenever somebody calls us and asks if we have a certain type of battery, the answer is always, we got it. Even in those very rare instances we don't, we know how to get it. And if we don't know how to get it, we'll build it. That's how committed we are to making sure you have the power you need. From model cars to real cars, from toys to tractors, dog collars to doorbells, riding mowers to remote keys. If it takes a battery, we have it at Rex Battery. Over 75,000 batteries in stock right now. So if you're wondering if we've got a battery, yep, we've got it. They're fresh, fully charged, and ready to go, keeping Central Illinois fully powered for over 60 years. Rex Battery, Clear Lake, west of Dirksen.
X with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Lucky, lucky, lucky. At Impact Life, we are lucky to have donors like you. To show how appreciative we are of you, right now when you donate blood, we'll give you a voucher for a Kelly Green Changing the World Together t-shirt. Just in time for St. Patty's Day. How festive. Or choose a voucher for a $10 gift card to one of our participating businesses. Even if you try to give blood and find out you can't, we're still giving you a voucher for a gift card or a lucky Kelly Green t-shirt. Don't delay. Make your appointment today. Giving blood is not a big deal, and you're done before you know it. Visit the Impact Life Donor Center today at Wabash and Chatham Road near Goodwill in Springfield, or on South Main Street in Decatur. Please give what's in your heart because we are changing the world together. Visit bloodcenter.org.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just 2 options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
John, do you remember what you were doing, say, about 10 years ago?
About as good as recalling what happened last week.
Right. Well, if you purchased, say, a dishwasher at Dick Van Dyke Appliance World 9 years and 364 days ago, it'd still be covered.
By the famous 10-year protection plan, of course.
Well, it's included with most purchases at Dick Van Dyke. One Google reviewer, they still had unmatched prices and helpful people who delivered and set up the appliances without hassle.
The review mentions that they shopped around, did the comparison, and still found the best value at Dick Van Dyke.
So can you really not recall what you did last week?
Can you?
Now that I think of it, not really.
This is Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Our exclusive 10E with most appliance purchases. And we still beat any competitor's deal. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 92.7 WMAY.
Love being able to tell you about local theater and all the great activities that are going on and incredible performances from just really world-renowned talent. This town has so much to offer, and they do it each and every weekend with different groups putting on different productions. And this weekend and next weekend at the Hoagland Center for the Arts, the Spencer Theater Company putting together the Mousetrap. And joining us right now, a couple of the cast and crew, Mike Kirchel and Keith Wilson. Thank you for taking time with us, gentlemen. Mike, let's start with you. What's your role in the Mousetrap this weekend?
My role in the Mousetrap is Giles Ralston. I am the husband of the husband-wife team that runs the Monkswell Manor Guest House, and trying to welcome people as best I can, but all these guests are a little odd in some way.
Keith, your role?
I play the unexpected fifth guest, the uninvited one that just kind of arrives in the middle of the night, Mr. Paravicini, who's definitely, he's a rascal. He's got a little bit of a dark side.
So this is Agatha Christie. This is what, a murder mystery of sorts that, people typically I'm in a murder mystery for the Chatham Area Public Library, and we're going to talk about that next hour a little bit. But is this going to be like a whodunit type of thing?
It definitely is. It's written by the mother of all murder mystery writers, Agatha Christie, and it's the mother of all murder mysteries. The game Clue is based on this play loosely, and it's been running since 1952 on London's West End. I mean, it's the murder mystery whodunit. Yeah,
it's absolutely a whodunit. It's also just to maybe clarify, not interactive. So you won't be talking to the actors or anything, but you can be trying to figure out, okay, who is the murderer.
Well, you can, but you may be escorted out.
Mr. Paravicini might do it too.
Well, do you have people come up to you after these and they want to give input and stuff? Because that's one thing, when we do murder mysteries that are interactive, people afterwards just want to try to reshape the play. Do you guys have that expectation that people are going to want to?
I think what you have a lot of people going, I knew it was you.
Yeah,
I knew it was, whether they did or not, they're going to, they'll pick them out.
So talk about, you guys, of course, are in it, but what about the cast? What about those who are behind the scenes? Because that's always, I think, without them, you guys don't have a show, right?
Right.
Melody Sheehan's our prop mistress, and Renee Blank's our costumer. We've got Bridget Ratz in the back helping us with stage managing, getting us the props when we need to, and it's a very prop-heavy show. Before I get too much further, I do want to mention that Spencer Theater Company and SIU School of Medicine are working together to bring this production to Springfield, and it's gonna be a slam bang smash.
Yeah, good deal. Good to hear. And it is the Mousetrap coming up at the Hoagland Center for the Arts with the Springfield theater community coming together for this production. And Mike Kirchel with us, Keith Wilson with us. Talk about where people can see this and when people can see this weekend.
At Hoagland Center for the Arts. It's in the third floor Peggy Ryder Theater. It's been recently refurbished up there. They can get their tickets by at SpencerTheaterCompany.com or call the Hoagland box office. Showtimes are 7 on Fridays and Saturdays, and matinees on Sunday at 4.
We'd also invite folks to sign up on Facebook for the Spencer Theater Company Facebook page. Got a lot of promotional materials there, a lot of short videos with the cast and some
pretty pictures
posters.
Of Mike.
Yeah, pretty pictures of me. Not Keith. Nope. So it's SpencerTheaterCompany.com. And not only that, you'll be able to see future productions as they come out too.
But absolutely.
Right now we're concentrating on the Mousetrap this weekend and next weekend. We hope to see you there.
Absolutely. Spencer Theater Company putting together good work. And Mike Kirchel, Keith Wilson here with us. Cast members for the Mousetrap, which is going to be at the Hoagland Center for the Arts. You can find the Spencer Theater Company online. Just search Spencer Theater Company, sign up, get those updates, and go see the show this weekend or next weekend or multiple times. Why not? Make that happen. Mike, Keith, thank you so much for taking time.
Thank you,
sir.
It is Springfield's Morning News on WMAY.
WMAY FM, Taylorville. Springfield's news and talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Latest from ABC News. I'm Ike Ajaji. More Russian attacks overnight on Ukraine. A new barrage of missiles launched across the country.
Ukrainian President Zelensky via a translator.
Another Russian missile attacks with 36 missiles. The people were targeted once again, and again we have victims.
Zelensky says Ukraine managed to shoot down 16 missiles, but added his country needs more air defense. Kyiv has also been calling on NATO allies to send Ukraine fighter jets. Inez de la Cuetera, ABC News, at the Foreign Desk.
New fallout over former President Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election he lost. A Georgia grand jury report is due out today in part. most of it, including any details of possible criminal charges, staying sealed. That, as CNN reports, the special counsel investigating the former president has subpoenaed his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows.
Testimony by Meadows will likely focus on the tumultuous events of January 6, which directly relate to the possible basis of a criminal charge, interference with an election.
ABC News legal analyst Royal Oakes. Another mass shooting in America. 1 person killed, 3 more wounded last night at a shopping mall in El Paso, Texas. 2 suspects arrested, thanks to the quick action of an off-duty officer.
The off-duty police officer that was there, did the job, and the job that he's trained to do day in and day out.
Mayor Oscar Leeser. Later this morning, MSU will hold a news conference with an update on this week's deadly campus shooting there. 3 students killed, 5 others critical condition.
To my fellow students, my wonderful, amazing Spartans, it is okay to not be okay right now.
Joe Kovach, MSU's undergraduate student body president, at a vigil last night. Meantime, we've learned the gunman, Anthony McRae, who took his own life, got a plea deal over a weapons charge in 2019 and got the felony dropped. This is ABC News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while others might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'll finish that for him. All right, it's Springfield's morning news, and yesterday's council roundup was, well, let's just say, interesting. I guess that's one way you could put it. Oh, what is it? What do we got here? Is this queued up?
For you to shut up, Joe.
That was just a random spot on the string of clips I have. So yeah, we nailed it.
All right, come on. Okay, so no, it's time for you to shut up, Joe.
All right, so we'll get your reaction to yesterday's Springfield City Council roundup from Tuesday's meeting and passions spilling over, and how you think this is going to impact Springfield's mayoral election. So stay tuned. We'll get your thoughts on WMAY, 217-629-7970. Right now, though, it's 8:04.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, labor groups are applauding Governor Pritzker's commitment to boost education spending and increase workforce development programs. Several business groups are applauding the work by Pritzker and the General Assembly to stabilize Illinois' finances, but warned that revenues are expected to slow down in the coming years and caution against significant new spending. GOP State Senator Steve McClure of Springfield says Illinois is headed towards a fiscal cliff and contends Pritzker's plan would ultimately force a tax increase. A Springfield teenager has been found guilty on all counts in the stabbing death of a student outside Linefair High School in 2021. Kamaya Bias was convicted on all counts in a bench trial before a Sangamon County judge, where she was tried as an adult in the attack that killed 18-year-old Pierre Scott, Jr., and wounded another teen. Bias was 15 at the time of the incident and could face 27 to 90 years behind bars when she is sentenced April 19th. Springfield police say it appears the death of a 3-year-old boy last week was an accident, although their investigation continues. Coroner Jim Allman says Zane Xavier Watson died of blunt force injury to his chest shortly after he was transported to HSHS St. John's Hospital from a home on Anchor Road on February 6th. A Springfield police spokesperson says the death is not being investigated as a homicide, but offered no additional information on how the injury may have been inflicted or on the circumstances leading to the boy's death. Governor J.B. Pritzker says Illinois has paid off its short and medium-term financial obligations, freeing up money for major expansions in early childhood education and other programs. In the budget address heard live on WMAY yesterday, Pritzker called for creating 5,000 new slots for pre-K education this year and funding to raise child care salaries and boost early childhood interventions. Pritzker's proposal also increases funding for K-12 education and mental health services and steers more funding towards the state's unfunded pension liability. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by Just Beds. A great night's sleep starts with a visit to the yawn exterminators at Just Beds. Online at justbedsinc.com.
Nobody wants to think about their furnace going out this time of year, but if it does happen, you want service quickly and affordably, which is why a service agreement with MB Heating and Cooling is such a good idea. For one thing, regular furnace maintenance means it's much less likely that your furnace is going to have problems. Your equipment will last longer. Your utility bills could be lower, and it protects your investment in your HVAC system. But with a service agreement from MB Heating and Cooling, there's extra protection. For example, the basic silver plan gives you 2 performance tune-ups a year. There is 24-hour priority service should you need it. You get energy-saving cleanings, and if you do have to have that service, again, less likely with the regular maintenance, but when it does happen, you get a 20% discount on your service invoice. You get all this for just $24.95 per month. Peace of mind at a reasonable price. To sign up for an MB service agreement, visit mb-heating.com or call 217-544-HEAT, 544-4328.
Hi, I'm Misty Busher, and I'm running for Springfield Mayor. My goal is to bring new leadership for a better Springfield, and that means rolling up my sleeves and hitting the ground running to make sure things get accomplished. I will work hard to bring much-needed change for economic development, job growth, infrastructure, homelessness, and beautification of our city. These are just a few of the issues I'm focused on. I'm here to fight for Springfield and to bring changes to benefit every resident. I ask for your vote as Mayor of Springfield. Please vote Misty Busher.
Paid for by Friends of Misty Busher.
Less frustration, more vacation. Book a nonstop flight from Springfield's Abraham Lincoln Capitol Airport, SPI to Fort Myers, Punta Gorda at Allegiant.com and experience the sun, fun, and relaxation of Southwest Florida. Find low fares and save big by bundling at Allegiant.com. Fly from SPI and spend more time enjoying vacation. Book your flight from SPI at Allegiant.com. Fly local. Fly SPI. Take the easy way out.
Take the easy way out.
Everywhere with the WMAY app. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Breezy with showers today. Light snow beginning late in the afternoon. Windy overnight with a low around 20 degrees. Tomorrow mostly sunny with a high near 32, low around 22. Saturday partly sunny with a high near 48, low around 34. Sunday, sunny with a high near 54, and Monday, partly sunny with a high near 51. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
You know the weather outside can be frightful, but inside the old Shop and Save, it's delightful. Tropical 72 degrees inside the ginormous Drive and Save auto clearance sale on the corner of Wabash and Chatham Road.
90% of our cars and trucks are local trade-ins. Truly the best pre-owned cars to buy. The select cars we keep go through a 72-point inspection with new tires, brakes, belts, and hoses. Then we drop them into the indoors at the old Shop and Save. We take the loss internally, and you get the lowest priced cars in the state of Illinois.
Over $4.5 to $5 million worth of the finest pre-owns backed up by a lifetime warranty. With 0% available with approved credit, see dealer for details. So run, don't walk to the old Shop and Save, corner of Wabash and Chatham Road for the one and only Drive and Save. Voted Best of Springfield 2022 place to buy a used car.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
All right, let's get to it. We had a pretty lively council meeting on Tuesday, which made the council roundup we do each and every Wednesday that much more exciting. And it's an interesting display that I saw years ago when I started doing the council roundup. I was like, listen, we got sound bites we put out, but there's always a lot more substance to the conversations that are had, especially in a city like Springfield, where you've got a 10-person council, 11 if you include the mayor. But there are 10 unique and interesting individuals who are elected to these positions, and sometimes they see things differently. And yesterday with the council roundup, we heard just how people are seeing some things differently. And I'd like to get your thoughts on this. 217-629-7970. That's the phone number. You can always call in live and local. It is, of course, what we do here, take your phone calls. But I want to review some of, again, what happened at Tuesday's meeting. And in particular, some of the I guess, outbursts that we heard, and then hear your thoughts. Again, 217-629-7970. You can also email bishoponair@gmail.com. So what do we have happen? Background is, back in November of 2021, it was reported an executive session. That's when legislators, like a city council, goes into a closed-door meeting, and without violating the Open Meetings Act, they have certain things that they can go back there to discuss. And, possible or probable litigation is one of them. I don't know if that's what this ultimately was about when they went back behind closed doors. I have to review the notes on that. But that meeting apparently was reported on by the Illinois Times in an overall conversation about debt forgiveness and how the city goes about forgiving certain debts. This deals with the Wyndham City Center. It's the tall building in downtown Springfield, right catty corner from the Bank of Springfield Center. Used to be the Hilton, now it's the Wyndham City Center. They were having some problems, some financial problems, and they owed the city more than $1 million in utilities. And with that was about $250,000 in various fees. Well, in 2021, in November, Mayor Jim Langfelder brought aldermen back to discuss the debt. And we are likely going to hear that audio being released with a resolution brought up on Tuesday to allow for the release of that executive session audio. And that was because it was revealed, and some people want to make sure that nobody's mischaracterizing what was said behind closed doors back in November of 2021. And the question really comes down to, should aldermen, at least in my perspective, should aldermen have a say in forgiving this type of debt, this level of debt? And it's turning into a political conversation because we've got a mayoral election coming up here soon, where incumbent Mayor Jim Langfelder, who waived this debt unilaterally, is getting some flack from opponents. And one of those being the treasurer, Misty Busher, having previously said that she wants to make sure that any debt forgiveness is voted upon by city aldermen. Now, whether or not that's economical, meaning, if they have to then go through and vote on every bit of debt relief, does that include the waiving of $20 fee that somebody may have gone through administrative court and said, hey, I'm not guilty of this, and therefore the fee's waived? No, you still got to pay it. But then somebody wants to take extrajudicial steps to waive that. Is that going to be something that's going to flood city aldermen with more and more things they have to look at? We've run into this before when it comes to contracts and what power the mayor has in forgiving, or not forgiving, but in granting contracts. There was talk about lowering the threshold down to like $20,000. So anytime there was a contract of $20,001, then city aldermen would have had to have heard the details about the contract and either voted on it on the consent agenda or voted on it on the debate agenda. And that would have caused a lot more workload for certain contracts to be approved. They put that threshold, I think, at $50,000. So anything below $50,000, aldermen just get a contract report, and that's how they ultimately deal with it. But if it's over $50,000, then aldermen have to vote on it. So you can see that if you move that threshold down a little bit, then all of a sudden you've got a flood of ordinances coming in to deal with contracts that are just meant to continue city operations moving forward. So similar debate, but this is about debt forgiveness. And it spilled over to, the fingers pointing back and forth. And we'll just play a couple of clips here from Tuesday's meeting, as we heard with the council roundup. But I want to hear from you at 217-629-7970. Here is a little bit of the political back and forth and the voices you hear most. Alderman Joe McMiniman, also Alderman Chuck Redpath, and Alderman Ralph Hanauer. So here is Alderman Joe McMiniman laying out some of his thoughts on what's going on here behind the scenes when it comes to this issue of debt forgiveness.
Our treasurer doesn't go back there with us, so maybe she didn't know what we were talking about, unless someone here kind of clued her in. I don't know that.
Why are you even bringing
Why
it
are
up?
you making speculations?
Come on,
guys.
Come
on. One at a time. Everybody's important. Everybody's going to be heard, Alderman Redpath. Just put your light on and you'll get your turn, but we're not going to do this.
So, Alderman McMiniman, he continues on and raises even more speculation as to what's behind this.
And I know I'm kind of outnumbered here by some of the loud talkers, but, I know some of them are sensitive because, I understand, Alderman Redpath, you've got a daughter running for a higher office.
Now, why do you got to bring that
Politics
stuff up?
out of
That's
it?
completely
Come on,
out
guys,
of order.
come on.
Okay, so it's time for you to shut up, Joe.
Come on, guys.
You always do this stuff.
So I just wanted to encourage you to speak that way again, Ralph.
So, obviously, some heated conversation there, and I want to hear from you as to your thoughts on the politics of this. 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Hi. Well, first of all, anybody that talks like that, to tell somebody to shut up, that's just classless over a situation like that. But anyway, wasn't this was already public like a long time ago. The public knew about this payment months ago.
Well, the public knew about the Wyndham paying the debts, because if you recall, during the summer of last year, this was talked about, and Wyndham looking to get a new purchaser and somebody who would possibly change some hotel rooms into apartments. And in that conversation, spanned over several months. Really, it was brought up before. A mayor said, "Hey, they're going to pay their debt," and the alder people were like, "Well, show us." Oh, they're going to wire it. I believe it's going to happen tomorrow, and that was some of the statements that were made. So we knew about them paying about $1.2 million, but we didn't. The first I knew about the debt being forgiven was this recent dust up, but that's only because of the fees that were forgiven ultimately.
Gotcha. I think ultimately, if the laws allow for the mayor to do what he did, then you can't blame the mayor. He had a job to make and do. That's it. Now, as far as whether people should have known or shouldn't have known, I mean, if the way the rules are written, I mean, they're written there for a reason. So.
Well, and do the rules need to be changed, though, to ensure that this type of thing doesn't happen? That's the question. I appreciate the call. We'll get to more of them. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Good morning. This is strictly politics. There's no, I mean, if there was not a mayoral race going on, this would have been done with months ago, weeks ago, whatever. Let's listen to that tape and find out who in that meeting put their foot in their mouth, and then go from there. There's got to be some latitude here for the mayor, and with this thing, possible bankruptcy and everything else. So let the thing play out.
Thank you. Well, and I appreciate the call. We'll definitely be airing the tape once it's released, and you can guarantee you'll hear it in most of its entirety here on WMAY. As we follow this, as we do each and every week, the Council Roundup. Don't forget, Wednesdays at 7 o'clock. Good morning. You're on WMAY. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are that it seemed a little lowbrow, kind of something you might hear in a bar room. But, it seems like we should have go back to the commissioner form of government, because that's when the city actually ran properly. You didn't have so many egotistical, basically just people with big egos that got a few votes. The commissioner form of government was more efficient, and you didn't have all these problems then.
Well, if you want to go back to before there was a lawsuit that challenged that form of government because it was discriminatory towards people in certain areas of the city.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
Well, the court said back then disagree, but regardless, in the now, not going backwards, in the now, I want to hear from you at 217-629-7970, your reaction to the dust-up over this situation, but also what you think needs to happen here. Should city aldermen have more of a say in debt forgiveness? Good morning.
Hi, I just want to address a little piece of the pie, because I've experienced it myself. I believe, I don't care if the aldermen go back and forth and what they say to each other, but I have gone up twice before the city council and feel bullied by the city council. So I think they should not be able to bully the people who come to testify before the city council. We're citizens, most of us tax-paying citizens. So there needs to be some pushback on that.
Yeah, and we see this from time to time, and even this past week with the Surf Springfield and the ordinance that was put up to block e-surfboards, and then they put it back in committee saying that they were going to revise it and make a larger ordinance, and then all of a sudden Tuesday they say, oh, we're bringing that out of committee all of a sudden, and the person who was there wanting to talk about it, an older person said, no, he can talk later, we'll deal with this next week, but it was up in front of the alder people. So yeah, that type of thing happens, and I've seen it happen before in the past as well in the 12, 13, 14 years or so I've been covering this. So that's an interesting point. Appreciate the call. More calls coming in. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Hey, so McMenamin definitely is the type of guy that says what we're all thinking. And I'm pretty sure that everybody there was definitely thinking the same thing, but McMenamin was the only one to actually want to say it. And of course, that would tick off anyone at all. And, what Chuck said was definitely uncalled for and, not quorum at all. But I do think that you're on the right path. They need to make a vote on, say, the rule does need to be changed. It needs to be about $50,000 or over. So any debt for forgiveness that's over $50,000 definitely needs to be brought to the table.
Yeah, and heard openly and discussed and voted upon. That seems to be the crux of what's going on here, but obviously the politics at play in rather spectacular fashion here. But of course, hearing your thoughts at 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here on WMAY.
And I know I'm kind of outnumbered here by some of the loud talkers, but, I know some of them are sensitive because, I understand, Alderman Redpath, you've got a daughter running for a higher office.
Now, why do you got to bring that
politics
stuff up?
out of
That's
it?
completely
Come on,
out
guys.
of order.
Come on. Okay, so
it's time for you to shut up, Joe.
All right, your thoughts, 217-629-7970. Good morning, you're on WMAY. Thought you would have been. All right. Let's go to line 2. Good morning, you're on WMAY.
Hey, Greg, how you doing today?
Good, yourself?
Doing very well. I was listening to this morning, and I've listened. This is the third or fourth time I've heard the tapes, and the one thing that I can't help but see is that, as the head executive for Springfield, he negotiated the drawings of fees so that he could get a payment, and he basically got $3 on every dollar for a payment that they could have went into bankruptcy and absolved themselves of anyway. So, isn't it important to let our executives have the ability to negotiate deals in which we get more money? And The thing is like it's going to be very hard to get 10 people to agree on that because a lot of people will look at that and say, well, net, we lost. But the fact is like without those fees, we may not get any of that money.
Yeah, and I think they did get that wire of like $1.2 million, and it was the fees associated with it that were ultimately waived. But yeah, I mean, if they didn't come to some terms, they could have declared bankruptcy and tried to get out of that debt through the bankruptcy courts. And that was obviously a concern. So yeah, interesting perspective.
And I think that's kind of my point is like our executive officers for our city, for our state, should have a little bit of leeway when it comes to stuff like this because they got more money than they would have anyway.
Yeah. Interesting. Sure. Yeah, no, I appreciate the call, and we'll take one more before the break, which I am woefully late for, guys. All right, 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
The thing that concerns me is that all of these deals being done behind the closed doors, and we don't get to know about them. That's what bothers me. What other deals are being done behind closed doors?
Sure.
And that's it is not a good image at all.
We want transparency. We want open government. There's no question about it. And is this something that highlights how some instances we don't have as much transparency as we should have? I appreciate the perspective and everybody chiming in. We are late for a break, but hopefully I got you guys to your parking lot for work without having to, wait. Oh, no, who's going to say what? So, okay, it's safe for you to get out of your car now and go clock in and get ready for the 8:30 shift to start, okay? So make that happen. It is Springfield's Morning News. Love hearing from you guys. Thanks for chiming in at 217-629-7970. On this Thursday, what a ride it has been thus far. All right, much more coming up here on WMAY. All right, stay tuned. I might share with you again, if you missed it, the audio of the citizen addressing the council, which, you know what, we'll have to get to that some other time. It was ridiculous. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll wait. All right, it's 8:27. Got to take a break. From Culver's West on Wabash.
Time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions. And did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield.
Where do you go when you want to get in shape?
The Body Quest store, the Body Quest store.
High quality exercise equipment for your home.
The Body Quest store, the Body Quest store.
The quest for the healthier you begins at
the Body Quest store, the Body Quest store.
3120 Montvale Drive.
The Body Quest store, the Body Quest store.
787-9930.
The Body Quest store, the Body Quest store.
The quest for the healthier you begins at the Body Quest store. 3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield.
Hi, I'm Ed Lex, your Springfield Edward Jones financial advisor. There is nothing more important to me than understanding what's important to you. Only then can you and I work through our established process to build your personalized strategies and the specific actions needed to help you achieve your financial goals. I'll continue to partner with you and your family throughout your life, revisiting your goals and risk tolerance, as well as the strategies we develop to help keep you on track towards your goals. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, member SIPC.
The Verlo Mismatch Sale is back. It's our biggest sale of the year. Mismatch on the outside, the same Verlo long-lasting craftsmanship on the inside. So hurry in now and save an additional 10% off every mattress and box spring. Wake up, sleep better. Verlo.
Why waste another night on a mattress that's not comfortable or supportive? This is Caleb Kitzman with Verlo Mattress. Our mattresses aren't dropped off by the truckload like most mattress stores. At Verlo, we handcraft every mattress in our local factory. That means we custom fit a mattress for you, not the other way around. Stop in this month and pair any of our mattresses with an adjustable base and get up to $200 off. Verlo Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
The Verlo Mismatch Sale is back. It's our biggest sale of the year. Mismatch on the outside, the same Verlo long-lasting craftsmanship on the inside. So hurry in now and save an additional 10% off every mattress and box spring. Wake up, sleep better. Verlo.
Lucky, lucky, lucky. At Impact Life, we are lucky to have donors like you. To show how appreciative we are of you, right now when you donate blood, we'll give you a voucher for a Kelly Green Changing the World Together t-shirt. Just in time for St. Patty's Day. How festive. Or choose a voucher for a $10 gift card to one of our participating businesses. Even if you try to give blood and find out you can't, we're still giving you a voucher for a gift card or a lucky Kelly Green t-shirt. Don't delay. Make your appointment today. Giving blood is not a big deal. and you're done before you know it. Visit the Impact Life Donor Center today at Wabash and Chatham Road near Goodwill in Springfield or on South Main Street in Decatur. Please give what's in your heart because we are changing the world together. Visit bloodcenter.org.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We stand behind what we sell. We offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
As you sit slightly sideways staring at a ditch, it's about now you're thinking, I sure wish I'd have visited Lauterbach and done something about these tires. Worry not, we've all been there. And Lauterbach is here. It's the Lauterbach man, and I'm overlooking stacks of fresh tires ready for your car. Putting two and two together, it's pretty clear that a place called Lauterbach Tire is quite exceptional when it comes to those rubber miracles. See, good tread and properly balanced tires can mean the difference between you choosing when to stop and that slushy ditch choosing for you. And it's not exaggerating to say better tires can mean a safer Springfield. I'm serious about safety, and I know you are too. So let's meet over lunch or whenever is convenient for you and find you a nice set of safe tires. You'll be happy, and that car in front of you right now will be happy too. See my talented techs at Lauterbach Tire on Wabash today, and drive safely now.
Head on over to WMAY.com where you can find the daily poll and take the poll where you can let us know how you feel about the question, which is, after the governor's speech yesterday, how would you assess the state of Illinois? And it looks like most of you are saying that the state of Illinois is in poor condition. About 55% of you say that now. So go vote at WMAY.com, the daily poll. But while you're there, also check out the contest page where you can learn how to win a $75 rebate with Fly SPI. All right, we announced the winner already for this week, and congratulations to that winner. She got herself a $75 rebate for a flight out of Springfield Capital Airport. Laura Carnes, congrats on that. But you can register and answer a new trivia question, which is what popular U.S. president flew into Capital Airport in October of 1962. So go vote at WMAY.com/fly.
Listen and watch the interviews with today's newsmakers on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe now. Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
All right, went late on the last segment, which means we're already late for news, which means I got to take that news break, keep you updated with headlines, and then coming back, I'll tell you about a murder mystery that I'm a part of. An original script written by a local playwright who's also the husband of a library director, the Chatham Area Public Library, putting on their annual murder mystery, and I've got the lead role, which really means that I've got a lot of lines I've got to learn in a short amount of time. But we'll talk with one of the other cast members about some more of the particulars and how this thing's coming together. So stay tuned. That's up next here with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Now, it's 8:34.
.927 WMAY.
Here are the three big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, the devastating earthquake 10 days ago in Turkey has revived the debate about a large nuclear power station being built on Turkey's southern Mediterranean coast. The plant's site, some 210 miles to the west of the epicenter of the February 6th quake, is designed to endure powerful tremors and did not sustain any damage from the 7.8 magnitude earthquake and aftershocks. But the size of the quake, the deadliest in Turkey's modern history, sharpened existing concerns about the facility being built on the edge of a major fault line. A Springfield teenager has been found guilty on all counts in the stabbing death of a student outside Linefair High School in 2021. Kamaya Bias was convicted on all counts in a bench trial before a Sangamon County judge, where she was tried as an adult in the attack that killed 18-year-old Pierre Scott, Jr., and wounded another teen. Bias was 15 at the time of the incident and could face 27 to 90 years behind bars when she is sentenced April 19th. Springfield police say it appears the death of a 3-year-old boy last week was an accident, although their investigation continues. Coroner Jim Allman says Zane Xavier Watson died of blunt force injury to his chest shortly after he was transported to HSHS St. John's Hospital from a home on Anchor Road on February 6th. A Springfield police spokesperson says the death is not being investigated as a homicide, but offered no additional information on how the injury may have been inflicted or on the circumstances leading to the boy's death. Governor J.B. Pritzker says Illinois has paid off its short and medium-term financial obligations, freeing up money for major expansions in early childhood education and other programs. In the budget address heard live on WMAY yesterday, Pritzker called for creating 5,000 new slots for pre-K education this year and funding to raise child care salaries and boost early childhood interventions. Pritzker's proposal also increases funding for K-12 education and mental health services and steers more funding towards the state's unfunded pension liability. Labor groups are applauding Pritzker's commitment to boost education spending and increase workforce development programs. Several business groups are applauding the work by Pritzker and the General Assembly to stabilize Illinois' finances, but warn that revenues are expected to slow down in the coming years and caution against significant new spending. GOP State Senator Steve McClure of Springfield says Illinois is headed towards a fiscal cliff and contends Pritzker's plan would ultimately force a tax increase. The consulting firm developing a master plan for the medical district in downtown is conducting an online survey to ask people their impressions of issues like living conditions, transportation, and parking in and near downtown. The results will be used to finalize that master plan and lay out priorities for public and private development in both the downtown area and the adjacent medical district. The online surveys are live now at springfieldmasterplan.com. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by Just Beds. A great night's sleep starts with a visit to the yawn exterminators at Just Beds. Online at justbedsinc.com.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
Listen at home with your Amazon smart speaker. Alexa, play WMAY 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Breezy with showers today. Light snow beginning late in the afternoon. Windy overnight with a low around 20 degrees. Tomorrow mostly sunny with a high near 32, low around 22. Saturday partly sunny with a high near 48, low around 34. Sunday sunny with a high near 54. And Monday partly sunny with a high near 51. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
The ginormous indoor auto sale event is back, this time at the Old Shop and Save on Chatham Road. The Old Shop and Save is now Drive and Save. Green Hyundai and the Goats at Green Certified West have moved all used vehicles indoors to the Old Shop and Save. Hundreds of vehicles all marked down indoors at the ginormous Drive and Save indoor auto sale at the corner of Chatham Road and Wabash. Aisle after aisle of fresh local trades. No freezer section here. All these vehicles are inside at a balmy 72 degrees. You don't even need to clip coupons to get 0% financing and huge savings on cars, trucks, minivans, SUVs, and more. And with Mike Quimby being there, you know you'll get more for your trade than anywhere. The ginormous Drive and Save indoor auto sale at the Old Shop and Save is going on now. Corner of Chatham Road in Wabash. 0% financing for 36 months, $10,000 max finance with approved credit through Heartland Credit Union.
Less hassle, more travel. We've got connections. Springfield to Chicago O'Hare to anywhere you need to travel on United Airlines. From your next business trip to your next family vacation, United Airlines can get you there from the Abraham Lincoln Capitol Airport. Security lines are short, parking is always free, and customer service is a top priority. Book your next United Airlines flight from SPI at united.com.
SPI, take the easy way out.
Suspect everyone. Witness the mystery and mayhem of the longest-running show in history as Spencer Theatre Company presents Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap, sponsored by SIU School of Medicine, February 17th to 19th and 24th to 26th at the Hoagland Center for the Arts. For showtimes and tickets, visit SpencerTheatreCompany.com or call the Hoagland box office at 217-523-2787.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
If you're a dog lover, how'd you like to make $3,000 a month renting out your backyard? Yes, you heard me right. I'm Kim Commando, America's Digital Pro, with a side hustle that's a win for dog lovers everywhere. You can rent your backyard as a dog park using the app Sniff Spot. Sounds a little kooky. Why would someone want to rent your backyard for their dogs? Well, they could be traveling and they need a place for Fido to unwind, or maybe there's just not a ton of space at home. To get started, check out your competition at sniffspot.com. You'll see backyards organized by state and then city. I found a backyard near me complete with photos, a hammock for dog parents to use, and 349 positive reviews praising the large grassy area and great hosts. Most backyards charge around $15 an hour, but you can also offer monthly memberships. And SniffSpot says you can earn up to $3,000 a month renting out your yard. Hey, sound like a tech pro, even if you aren't one? Get my Daily Longer podcast. It's perfect at home or if you're on the go. It's called Kim Commando Today.
You can Google anything, but you can't Google trusted advice. And that's why millions just like you turn to Kim Commando every day on national radio, television, and USA Today to help protect and secure your computers, smartphones, televisions, and most important, to keep you and your family safe from hackers and scammers. If you're not already getting Kim's free breaking security alerts, you're missing a critical component to living in today's digital age. You can sign up now at commando.com/subscribe. Kim sends these free email newsletters to your inbox only when data breaches could expose your personal information. And when hackers find new ways to break into your computers and devices, Kim is always looking out for you. It's easy and free to get Kim's breaking security alerts. Go to commando.com/subscribe. Enter your email address and that's it. That's commando.com/subscribe. Commando.com/subscribe.
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
So for years, I've been doing murder mysteries for the Chatham Area Public Library. And sometimes I put on tights and act like a superhero. Other times I put on a nerdy outfit and act like a librarian. Or one point I was a special agent who was there to solve murders. But now I am leading a cast of characters that I don't want to give too much away, but this new production that we're putting together is pretty ridiculous. And it's coming up here soon. Joining me to talk about it is Caitlin Clarity. She is in the circulation at Chatham Area Public Library. She joins us now with all the details, because Caitlin, I tell you, I've got the lead. I've got a ton of lines. I've barely learned all my lines, and this thing's coming up. So I don't have any more space in my brain for exactly when this thing's actually going to happen. It's coming up. Tell us about it.
Yes, so it's happening Friday, March 10th and Saturday, March 11th, both shows at 7 p.m. It's called Denouement. Offing an author. It's going to be a great show, I think.
Denouement, offing an author. Yeah. And of course, local playwright Ryan Byers, he puts this together. He's the husband of Amy Byers, the director of the Chatham Area Public Library. I forget, how many is this he's done? Do you know? It's like 10, 11, 12, 15 or something?
I think he said about 14.
Wow.
This is his 14th year.
Original scripts, and we get to know his process a bit. It typically starts with an idea that's brought upon by tryptophan for Thanksgiving, and then he plots out the characters and then takes some time over various holiday breaks to craft this thing, and then he punishes us all with having to play out his ridiculous visions. But it's good. It's funny. There's a lot of local references. There's a lot of pop culture references. I'll admit I don't get all of them. But if you want to help raise funds for the Chatham Area Public Library, you can get yourself tickets. Caitlin, tell us how you can get those tickets.
Yeah, so you can get them online on our website at chathamlib.org. You can come into the library and purchase them. We can do cash, check, card. So there's multiple options that you can buy tickets.
And you'll see a bunch of, I'll just face it. Listen, I'm an amateur. I don't know. I don't really know acting that great. However, it's still a good time. But I got roped into this because my wife, Megan, worked at the Chatham Area Public Library for years. And she doesn't work there anymore, but we kept doing this. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people in the murderer's row at the Chatham Area Public Library that kind of fell into this, and then they just keep doing it year after year after year. How did you get involved in this?
So this is my second year doing it. Last year, there was a role that needed filled. It was just a small role, only one line, and my director, Amy, was up at the front desk one day, and she just kind of looked at me like, you want to be in the murder mystery? And
did you realize that it would turn into a lifelong commitment now?
I did not.
No,
not at
okay.
the time.
All right, well, and not only are you in it this year with a much larger role, but you also have, the duties of coming and being the spokesperson. So you've got that now added to it. You're doing great, by the way.
Thank you.
You're doing wonderful. Caitlin Clarity. Let's get the details one last time here, and then we'll talk a little bit about my role in the play, but also what your role is in the play, without giving too much away. We don't want to give any spoilers away, but we do want to tell people the dates and how they can get their tickets for this production.
Yes, so it's Friday, March 10th and Saturday, March 11th at 7 p.m. You can buy your tickets online at chathamlib.org, or you can come into the library and purchase your tickets that way.
And again, what's it called?
Denouement.
Denouement. Offing an author. Denouement. You got to add that moi. So I'm the author, and my task is, and this gets really meta, because it's Ryan wrote this, so I think that he was kind of thinking last minute, like, what am I going to write about? I'm trying to write a murder mystery. That's the basis of the show. I'm trying to write a murder mystery. The deadline's rapidly approaching. A huge procrastinator. No idea what to write about. And without giving too much away, at least for your character, You are part of my conscience.
Yes, I am a part of your conscience. I am the morally
upstanding.
Yeah.
The more holy side of the conscience.
Yeah.
So people know the devil and the angel on the shoulder. Well, Caitlin plays the angel on my shoulder, Seraphim.
Seraphim.
And my wife Megan, she plays the, which I think is kind of appropriate. She plays more of the sinister role, which, what's her name? It's
Isabel Zabub.
Isabel Zabub. That's right. So if you want to see cast of characters, some made up, some not, you can definitely check this out. It's going to be a good time. And the victim in this. I mean, the victim in this, I don't want to give anything away, but the costume I can't wait to see.
I'm very excited.
I'm very excited too. And let's just say there's going to be a lot of underwear all over the place for some reason. If that's not enough to get you to come and check out this murder mystery, an original production put on by the Murderers Row at the Chatham Area Public Library, I don't know what is. So underwear all over the place, angels and devils, and some local references that you'll be on the ground laughing. So Caitlin, thank you so much for taking time with us.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'll see you Sunday. We got another rehearsal. Is that right?
That's right.
Oh boy. And you said the play's March 11th?
10th and 11th.
Oh my gosh, I've got such little time to get this thing ready. All right, no, I appreciate it. We'll talk again soon, all right?
Thank you.
It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk, and be sure to get those tickets, all right? It's now 8:51. Got to take a break and check in with Crime Stoppers next on WMAY from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Hands-on experience and knowledge are traits we expect of our elected officials. No one is more qualified and experienced in the city treasurer's office than Colleen Redpath-Fager. Colleen is the only candidate for city treasurer that works hands-on daily in every area of the office. Redpath-Fager has increased profits on our city investments, streamlined the collection of city revenues, and kept our money locally invested. As city treasurer, Colleen Redpath-Fager will continue to increase our investment profits and collection revenues, modernize online and text collection of violations, and provide greater financial and debt transparency between city departments and the public. Colleen will ensure an innovative and effective city treasurer's office that Springfield residents will benefit from and be proud of. Fager, proven leadership of experience, trustworthiness, and dedication to our community that you can count on. Vote Colleen Redpath-Fager for Springfield City Treasurer.
Paid for by friends of Colleen Redpath-Fager.
Our airport is celebrating 75 years in the capital city. Oh, but get this. You're getting the gifts. 92.7 WMAY and Fly SPI are hooking you up with $75 flight rebate vouchers. Answer weekly trivia questions at WMAY.com/fly and listen to Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop every Thursday morning at 7:50 to hear if you're this week's winner with the Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport and 92.7 WMAY.
As you sit slightly sideways staring at a ditch, it's about now you're thinking, I sure wish I'd have visited Lauterbach and done something about these tires. Worry not, we've all been there, and Lauterbach is here. It's the Lauterbach man, and I'm overlooking stacks of fresh tires ready for your car. Putting two and two together, it's pretty clear that a place called Lauterbach Tire is quite exceptional when it comes to those rubber miracles. See, good tread and properly balanced tires can mean the difference between you choosing when to stop and that slushy ditch choosing for you. And it's not exaggerating to say better tires can mean a safer Springfield. I'm serious about safety, and I know you are too. So let's meet over lunch or whenever is convenient for you and find you a nice set of safe tires. You'll be happy, and that car in front of you right now will be happy too. See my talented techs at Lauterbach Tire on Wabash today, and drive safely now.
Springfield has so many must-see destinations when you come to visit, such as the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum, Bicentennial Plaza, and don't forget 7th Street Cidery. Yes, 7th Street Cidery, Central Illinois' first cidery, is quickly becoming a destination for their great selection of locally sourced ciders, meads, and perries in a warm, rustic atmosphere. Located at 503 South 7th Street next to Obed and Isaac's and across from Lincoln's home, near great shopping and history in the heart of downtown Springfield. 7th Street Cidery.
If you love barbecue and tasty butts drive you nuts, wiggle on over to Lil Willie's Smokehouse. Fresh smoked barbecue that you're gonna love. What's your pleasure? Brisket, pork, chicken? Lil Willie's got it. And all of the classic sides, like homemade mac and cheese and cornbread. Follow your nose to the smoke at Lil Willie's Smokehouse. Ask about Willie's Rewards, where you get points for eating barbecue. Lil Willie's Smokehouse at the corner of South Grand and MacArthur. Wiggle Central.
For more information, visit littlewilliesbbq.com.
If you drive, you need the free Get Upside Gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. The free Get Upside Gas app gets you up to 50 cents a gallon cash back every time you buy gas. 3 million people have earned cash back with Get Upside just for buying gas.
I always use Get Upside.
It's just free money for buying gas. Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play. Use promo code PASS. Earn cash back on gas on every fill up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code PASS. Get Upside. Code PASS.
Some people would call him a loser. He ran for state office. He was beaten. He started a business. He failed. He ran for Congress. He lost. He was nominated for vice president. He lost again. But he knew only those who never tried are the real losers. And Abraham Lincoln was no loser. Persistence. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Listen on demand at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
All right, let's do what we do each and every week at this time, and that's checking in with Crime Stoppers Coordinator Officer Drew Zabados with us to give us the crime of the week and how we as a community can help raise funds for Crime Stoppers. Drew, take it away. What do we got going on this week?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Greg. So this week we are looking to assist the Springfield Police Department. We're trying to locate two subjects who are suspected of being involved in multiple forgeries throughout the area, totaling over $7,000. These two subjects are Corey L. Banks, he's a 26-year-old male, and Marquel C. Scott, who is a 25-year-old male. They are believed to have been in a rental vehicle, which is a black Dodge Durango. It had Georgia registration on it, TEK 3921. I do have photos of both suspects and the vehicle on our website, which is cashfortips.us. Of course, if you can identify them, give us a call on our anonymous tip line at 217-788-8427. You can submit a tip on our website, which again is cashfortips.us, or use the P3 mobile app, and we do pay up to $2,500 for any information that leads to an arrest.
And this obviously is something that the community can help with to provide those anonymous tips. And it could be as simple as something like, I saw a similar vehicle heading this direction on this street at this time, because that can be just enough to get you guys to look in the right place to find even more detail on getting those leads. So this is the type of thing that you can do as a community to help solve crimes and, of course, get an anonymous payout from Crime Stoppers. Officer Drew Zabados, tell us how people can go beyond just providing tips and providing financial assistance in all of this.
Yeah, so we're not-for-profit. There's information on donations on our website, but when we have fundraisers, like we just had our trivia, I'm sure golf will be back. We've got things throughout the year. Being a not-for-profit, we rely on the generosity of the community, and we're not able to pay our tipsters without your generosity. So for everybody who supported us, thank you. We do appreciate it. But like I said, a couple weeks ago, I gave our stats for the year. We had $18,000 in rewards approved. So every little bit does help, because people do use Crime Stoppers, and it's a great asset to law enforcement in the community. And without the generous support of everybody, we couldn't make this thing go.
Absolutely. So be safe out there. Officer Drew Zabados, coordinator for Sangamon and Menard Crime Stoppers, and we'll talk again next week, all right?
All right, thank you, sir.
It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk, and that's all the time I've got for today. Tomorrow's Friday. Thank God tomorrow is Friday. I'm ready for the weekend to unplug and definitely come back at it As we always do each and every weekday morning from 6 to 9 here on WMAY. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow morning.